There was a time when the night did not belong to you. Step outside after the bell, and you could be arrested, beaten, even killed, not for anything you did, simply for being awake in the dark. For most of human history, the night was off limits. A curfew bell emptied the streets. A locked gate sealed the city, and the darkness that was left was governed like enemy territory. Your right to walk at midnight is one of the youngest freedoms you have. To be awake in the dark wasn't dangerous. It was a crime. This is how we took the night back. It began with fire. Every house burned with open flame, and one stray ember could take a whole city with it. So when the sun set, a bell rang out over the rooftops, and everyone understood what it meant. That bell had a name, the curfew, from the old French couvre-feu. Cover your fire. Fire's covered. Lamps out, and every door shut. But the curfew didn't stay a fire law. It became something heavier, an order, be indoors, or answer for it. Gates were locked at nightfall and not open till dawn. A city after curfew was a city holding its breath. And the streets that were left belonged, officially, to no one. Officially, because someone still had to keep that emptiness empty. If you absolutely had to go out, the law had a condition. You had to carry a light. Many cities passed lantern laws. No light meant no honest reason to be out, and that made you a suspect. The flame in your hand wasn't for seeing. It was a permit, proof you weren't hiding. Light marked you as honest. Darkness made you a criminal, and light was not cheap. For most people, it was wealth. A working family might afford only a few hours of candlelight a week. The poor burned reeds dipped in fat, smoky, foul, and gone in minutes. So the law asked the poor to buy permission they could barely afford, or stay locked indoors after dark. Enforcing all of this was the night watch. And after curfew, one question ruled every street. Who goes there? Ordinary men with lanterns, pikes, and loud voices walked the dark, calling out the hours. 10 o'clock, and all is well. It wasn't just the time. It was a message to every thief in earshot. Someone is awake, someone is watching, and anyone out without a lantern, without a reason, could be seized and held until morning. And it was far worse for women. A man caught in the dark was a suspected thief. A woman alone was assumed to be a prostitute and could be arrested on sight. For half of everyone, the night was simply a locked door. In London, the wealthy hired link boys, children carrying flaming torches, to light them safely past the watch and the dark. Imagine it, hiring a child with fire because the night itself was against you. But here's the contradiction at the heart of it all. The law forbade the night, while half the world ran on it. Bakers worked while everyone slept, because bread had to exist by sunrise. The smell of morning is really the work of 3 a.m. And then there were the night soilmen, the ones who emptied the city's cesspits. Their job was foul, essential, and by law, allowed only after dark. A whole trade that was illegal in daylight, and the only trade the night demanded. Fishermen rode out before dawn. Midwives answered the knock at midnight. Shepherds counted flocks under the stars, and in the deepest shadows. Smugglers and poachers ran an entire midnight economy the law could never reach. The curfew was the law. The working dark was the truth, and the two simply ignored each other. There was even a way to be awake at night that no curfew could quite forbid, because it happened indoors, in the legal gray of your own bed. If you've seen our story about sleep, you know, before electric light, people slept in two halves, waking for an hour around midnight. They called it the watch. They prayed, they talked, they stirred the fire back to life. And historians still debate just how universal it was. It was a private wakefulness the curfew couldn't touch, the 1 hour of the night that was legally, quietly yours. And when people did have to move at night, they planned around the only free light there was, the moon. Weddings, dances, journeys, all scheduled by the moon. It wasn't scenery, it was infrastructure. But step back and ask the real question. Why outlaw the night at all? Fire was the excuse, but many historians see a deeper, colder reason. Controlling the darkness was a way of controlling the people. In the dark, no one could see your face, and what authority cannot see, it cannot rule. So the night became the natural home of everything the powerful feared: crime, conspiracy, rebellion. To rule the dark was to deny those things a place to hide. The curfew bell wasn't really about fire, it was about obedience, and fear did the rest. People believed the night air itself was poison, and sealed their shutters against it. Midnight even had a name: the witching hour, when evil was strongest, and honest folk stayed in bed. Darkness wasn't a time of day, it was a territory, and it was waiting to be invaded. Then, humanity decided to take the night by force. Paris, 1667. The king and his police chief, La Reynie, ordered lanterns hung across every street, the first city in the world systematically lit. For the first time, people came out just to look. Walking at night became a fashion. But not everyone celebrated. For some, those lanterns were the king's eyes hung over the city, and smashing them became an act of rebellion. Even light, it turned out, was power. To light the street was to claim it. But it wasn't only forced on them. People reached for the light too. It meant safety from the very dark they had always feared. The conquest of the night was a surrender both sides wanted. Then came gas. London, 1807, and crowds gathered on Pall Mall just to stare at light with no candle inside it. And in 1879, Edison's bulb ended the age of flame for good. Cities raced to electrify. And as the light spread, the old laws of the dark quietly fell apart. The watchmen vanished, the link boys vanished, and one night, in city after city, the curfew bell simply stopped ringing. In its place came something brand new: night shifts, night trains, night cafes, a nightlife. The night finally made legal. We treat the night as ours now, as a right, a time to drive, to work, to wander, to simply be awake. But for almost all of human history, it wasn't a right. It was a crime. The night had to be conquered, lit, and legalized. There was a price. A third of us can no longer see the Milky Way from where we live. The stars our ancestors lived by, quietly gone. We traded the dark for the light. And mostly, it was a good trade, but it was a trade. So tonight, when you step outside at midnight and no bell forbids it, remember, that freedom is younger than the light bulb, and it was hard won. And there's always another question waiting in the dark. The next one is right there on your screen. Come wonder about it with me. If this made you see the night a little differently, subscribe and stay curious. Sleep well. You're a little less in the dark now. I'll see you at the next midnight question.